Hey, hey everyone, what's up? You know, I talked about how I feel what TNA needs to do now after Bound for Glory to try to fix themselves. Now apparently it looks like they're going to be trying to do something that's not been done before, and storyline wise, they have EC3 banning, through his lawyer, banning Matt Hardy, the new world champion, from Impact Wrestling, from appearing on Impact Wrestling, and also filing a conjunction against his aunt and Jeff Hardy. So we'll see what they do with that. But speaking of fixing things, you know, I don't think the WWE should be surprised by now. I don't think Vince McMahon should be surprised by now. I don't think anybody should be surprised that the WWE is not doing so well in the ratings. It is football season. People would rather watch Monday Night Football. But it's not a surprise that they're not doing so well in the ratings. I mean, yes, they can succeed. They've proven that. But there's a problem. And that problem is they are sometimes repetitive in what they do. And that's something they need to fix. It's something they need to fix, and they need to fix immediately. Now, a lot of people have suggested, through various videos here on YouTube, some people have suggested to various websites like Bleacher Report or Wrestling News World and PWI and Ringside News, you name it. They've all suggested that WWE needs to do something that's going to create shock value. It's going to get people talking, it's going to get them tuning in. But what do? Well, you see right now the problem that the WWE has is they are in a PC error, or PR error, if you will. They're basically in a public relations error, which means they can't really do much without the possibility of those that they sponsor or those that are associated with outside of the WWE coming back on them and calling them a bunch of hypocrites. I mean, every year, every month, every week, every day, every second, every minute, every hour, fans are always wondering, typing up on Facebook, typing up articles, typing up this, doing videos like what I'm doing, always saying that always suggesting that the one major thing WWE needs to do to probably help itself is to go back to an error or go back into a format that's similar to the Attitude Error and the Ruthless Aggression Error. Now, some might say that that's a good idea and that could help them, but others, maybe even those inside of WWE, would be like the only reason those fans want that is because they want bra and panties. They want lingerie. Basically saying, all you want to do is see the divas almost butt bare naked. Honestly, not saying from a man's perspective that's not a bad thing, if done right and classy and with taste. But the point is, they would look at that, some, like those in WWE, would probably look at that as being the only reason. But fans would argue, saying, no, it's not the reason. The reason we want that is because you will let loose a little bit more. You are a public company anyway. You were still able to do this, but you were still able to do this, and that, and this, and that. And yet you're not doing that anymore. And that's what's hurting you. Well, you see, yeah, WWE was public at the time. They were, they were on Wall Street, okay? They still are. But the thing is, WWE is in an era right now to where, as much as we the fans would like them to change and maybe even take a direction in going back into doing that kind of format, it's not going to happen. And even if it does, what's it going to fix? What is it really going to fix? It's not going to fix anything. What it's going to do is basically cause the WWE to go back to what it was, which would be good for us, because it would be shock television, shock value. But what good would it do if, let's say, some of the people they're associated with come down on them and call them nothing but hypocrites? You see, I think that's the thing that WWE is afraid of. They're afraid of being known as hypocrites because of the fact that on one end of the spectrum, the branding, like through Stephanie McMahon, who's the Executive Vice President of Branding, as far as I know, she's going out, she's promoting all this stuff and how WWE is against bullying with Be a Star, how they promote, you gotta read, how they got this Carnage Cure going on. They got all this stuff happening, and what they're afraid of is the public image, the PI, being ruined if they decide, you know what, maybe we should try going back to the format of Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression a little bit more, or let everybody be a little bit more freelanced. Let them go out and do the things that'll get people talking. And that might be great and everything, but still, it could I think from a business standpoint, the WWE is afraid it's going to make them look bad, make them look like hypocrites, and they don't want that. Now, some fans might say, well, what other choice do they have? Now, they have a lot of choices. WWE has a lot of choices. They have the manpower behind the scenes to fix things. It's just they got to fix it in certain areas. Everybody wonders why, everybody probably within WWE, probably outside of it, always wonder why fans like NXT, even though NXT is a WWE product. Because NXT is more freelanced in a sense than not on a publicly watched national, if not worldwide channel like USA or USA or Sci-Fi. They're not seen on those channels. So, they can be more freelance, they can be a little bit more edgy, if not at times a little bit more controversial. They could do things no one else can do because they don't have to worry about that public imagery of being on USA or Sci-Fi. They're a little bit more freelance. They don't have to worry about that. But again, going back to what I'm talking about, that's why NXT is loved by a lot of people right now, why it's the phenomenon that it is, because it's basically what a lot of fans feel the WWE can be. And with the WWE bringing up NXT, got people like Sasha Banks, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, eventually Bayley, the Four Horsewomen, if you will, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor down the line, Hideo Itami when he comes back, Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn when he shows up. When fans see these guys, these men and women being called up to the main roster, they expect to have similar kind of matches that they see in NXT, and at times they get it, but at times they don't. Because of the fact that it's like night and day. You see, in NXT, like I mentioned, they're more freelanced. You could see that. But when they go to the WWE main roster, that freelance is gone and they're a little bit more restricted, a little bit more they'll put more on a leash of what they can say and do. Now at times, we have seen the WWE allow people to come out and say things sometimes like pipe bombs, or recently in Paige's case, page bombs, so they can get people's attention, they can get people watching, they can get people talking. 2 weeks ago, the night after Night of Champions, when Paige did her page bomb, it got people talking. Because anytime you allow a male or female superstar or diva or wrestler, anytime you allow them to come out and basically shoot, if you will, whether it's a legit shoot, a work shoot, or it's a combination of both, even though it's part of the storyline, people will pay attention because you're basically coming out and telling the truth about things. Last week she had a little bit of a miniature pipe bomb when she was entering the rings and replying to what Nikki Bella was saying. Nikki Bella was asking Charlotte and Becky, how can you take this? How, you call us, whatever, but how can you take this? What friends like this, who needs enemies? And Paige's reply was, yes, and with boyfriends like yours who need ambition. Basically a little bit of a miniature pipe bomb. Now, storyline-wise, you look at something like what Paige is doing in the Divas division with this Divas Revolution, and you're like, that could work. She's speaking truth. She has a goal in mind. But what that goal is, we don't know yet because we haven't further developed this storyline even more so. But there are a few things that WWE can do to help it along. And it's part of them fixing the problem. You see, one thing the WWE can do is allow the superstars and the divas to come out and do these pipe bombs. Do them once in a while, probably throw out a miniature pipe bomb here and there, so it gets people's attention. I mean, come on, honestly, you don't think there's a lot of superstars and divas in the back right now where they're at in Boston as we speak that wouldn't like to be given the opportunity to get a mic and be told, go out and say what you want to say. Go out and say what you want to feel. Shoot, if you will. Do a work shoot or a legit shoot. Do a pipe bomb, if you will. You don't think there's a whole locker room full of them that want to do that? Of course there is. Of course there is. And to me, that would be exactly what the WWE needs to do. They need to start looking more at the bombs, at the bombshell promos, the pipe bombs, the Paige bombs, the shoots, the work shoots, as basically being that turning point they need, because if you allow a superstar diva to do that, it'll get people's attention. It'll get them talking. They'll be like, whoa, I didn't expect that to come out of that person's mouth. Oh, whoa, I didn't expect them to, come out and admit this. This is all real. This is legit. This is real life. I mean, why do you think sometimes, even though people look at it as a failure on WWE's part, why some still look at their version of Summer of Punk as having some of its good moments? Why do you think some fans look at the WWE's version of the Summer of Punk, despite it not being one of the best story arcs, and not really taking the advantage of what it could have given them, and the momentum it could have given them? Why do you think some people still look at it as having some good moments? Because there was some legitimacy, there was truth and reality to it. I mean, I remember watching Monday Night Raw when Punk's standing in the ring with Triple H and saying towards the end of the promo, and oh, by the way, this isn't CM Punk talking to Triple H, this is Phil Brooks talking to Paul Levesque. It's like, you wouldn't expect that, but it got people's attention. Got people's eyes on the product, even during the summer. So, to me, I think that's one thing WWE needs to do. They need to start kind of slowly working that in to some of the Superstar and Divas promos down the line. Because you do that, it's going to get people's attention. It's going to keep them watching. But you got to do it correctly. You got to do it right. Excuse me. Like I said, you got to do it correctly, you got to do it right. Another thing they could do is do proper build-ups to matches and storylines. Now, right now, whether we like to admit it or not, probably the best storyline they got going right now, one-on-one wise, is Roman and Bray. I know some people may not want to admit that, but this is something you've been having going on since Money in the Bank. And they've been building upon this and building upon this and building upon this. And to me, they're going to culminate it at Hell in a Cell. I mean, you're looking at July, or was it not July? What is it? You're looking at you're looking at June. Yeah, June is what it is. You're looking at June, July, you're looking at August, September, and now this. You got 5 months worth of story here. June, July, August, September, October. That's a proper storyline build. Despite how you might feel about it in some ways, it's probably the best one they got going right now. And they can use that as an example to build up other things. Everybody looks at, like I mentioned with Paige, there's a reason they're having her do this whole shoot style like environment at times. You know, why they're having her be the hypocrite, be the brat, and all that? It's because she has a goal. She has some kind of a goal. But what is that goal? Here's what I think it is. Here's what I think it is, and it could be. Even JR mentioned it's a good time to do this. And that is, storyline-wise, you're having Paige come out and basically saying, hey, basically coming out and saying, hey, in work shoot-wise storyline, hey, you want to prove to me that you guys belong here? Then show it. Don't depend on boyfriends behind the scenes. Don't pretend, don't rely on your Hall of Fame parents or Hall of Fame dads. Go out and do it yourself. Show me, like I've been doing every night, that you have the passion, the ambition, the desire to be a real and if not the best women's/divas wrestler out there. Or you could reverse that saying the best women's wrestler out there. Keyword women's. And storyline-wise, you could build that up, and that is something that would get people's attention on the Divas division. Because you would have Paige with a legitimate goal that maybe she wants to, the divas, the ladies, the women of the WWE to realize, hey, we can't rely on, our husband or our boyfriend or our dad. We got to do it ourselves. We got to prove to people we have the passion, we have the desire, we have the ambition. We're willing to go out there and break our freaking necks, break our bodies, if you will, to put on a show for these fans, to show that we love this business, we love pro wrestling. And the storyline-wise, you could have Paige be like, the reason she wants this and the reason she wants the championship back is so that she can resurrect through it. She can resurrect through the ashes of what will be the Divas title. She can resurrect the women's title. That's the story I think they're building towards, and if they are, they need to start building on it even more so going into next year. Because think about it. Paige, to me, whether you like the character or not, is a key element, if not the key element, in revitalizing this division. And possibly through it, resurrecting it as a women's division, not a Divas division. And then you got the rumors that Nikki and Brie may be gone soon. We don't know when. So the question would be, what do you do? What do you do with Nikki? What do you do with Brie? How do you allow them to exit gracefully from the company when that time comes? Real simple. You build up a storyline, maybe with Paige, maybe with Charlotte, maybe with Becky, maybe with Sasha, or even Bayley. And you say, hey, we beat you girls, then you, Bellas, leave the WWE for good. We never see you again. We never see you again. And maybe from a Bella standpoint, storyline-wise, you have them agree that, oh yeah, we'll agree to the stipulation, but if we win, we get celebrated. You basically play into their ego saying, we're the Bellas, we made this division what it is, we win, then you guys, the following night on Raw, give us a grand celebration and honor us as the queens of the WWE. It could work. It could work from a storyline perspective, as crazy as it may sound, it could work. And it would get people's attention. And speaking of attention, Stephanie McMahon sometimes gets involved, right? Sometimes you have to physically get involved. You look at Paige, like I said, she's doing these pipe bombs, Paige bombs, whatever you want to call it. You really want to get the division on the map besides doing what I've mentioned, then WWE would need to involve Stephanie, have her come out at a time where Paige is probably going off and doing another Paige bomb, have Stephanie come out and say, Paige, that's enough, that's enough. You don't have the right to say all that kind of stuff. You shouldn't be saying that, And you can have Paige then retaliate and pipe bomb her and saying, Stephanie, you're not really, Stephanie, if you cared about this revolution, you would do more to help us. And oh, by the way, Miss Principal Owner, if that's who you really are, which you're not, because you're actually just